we definitely got on the wrong train.
We did. We really did.
When we decided to binge Infinity Train instead of...
You know what was great? And I remember that night, I mean, you and I went for a walk together.
You make it sound like so...
No, and I don't mean to, but, like, this was going to be, as children, we used to do Thursdays, and, like, that was our bonding. We would go and we would binge, like,
we were gonna
the new
bond
Motor City.
together.
We were gonna bond because you never watch things with me. Like, you're never into the same thing I'm in.
At least not at the same time.
I was, not at the same time. And I remember, like, watching the Infinity Train trailer, and you looked up at me, and, like, you haven't seen the other two yet, but you looked up at me, and you're like, so, when are we watching this? How are we watching it? How are we, and, like, it had built up, like, you know, over the course of, like, several weeks, and we made, like, a big day of it, and I'm like, this is what we're gonna bond over. This is so exciting. Like, finally, you are a part of whatever. You are part of the fandom.
But at the very last second.
At the very last second, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and we were trying to stay up to, like, 2. We needed something to watch. Another show you've never been into that I was into, ironically, also, like, it had been 2 seasons of this show that I had watched and not you, was Tales of Arcadia. And I could never get you to actually sit down. I tried showing you Troll Hunters. You weren't into it, and I wasn't really into it.
Wait. In my defense, there was just something about Jim's half zip that just put me off. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about his general appearance. But it's...
he's, as a protagonist, he was very... I didn't care for him. And then 3 Below was just annoying. In my opinion, I came off of Cinematic Titan. That was like a more adult show.
I did enjoy the Creep Slayers, though.
But that was...
I would watch things with the Creep Slayers in it. And I guess they were in 3 Below, too, weren't they?
Very vaguely. Like, they were in like a couple of episodes, but not really together.
None of that matters, because the main protagonist...
No, hold on.
Of Wizards.
Yes.
Which I will get to.
We will get to once I finish the story.
I'm literally gonna scream. I love him so much.
I know, and that made me, like, really happy because, like you said before, we got on the wrong fucking train. Like, and I didn't expect
We were fools.
We were fools. And I remember, like, I only wanted to watch 1 episode of Wizards just to pass the time, and apparently it was really cool. I saw that the season had come out, and I'm like, hey, can I put this on real quick? You didn't care. You were on your phone. You weren't even paying attention. And then, like, you heard, out of the corner of your ear, you heard...
I've only got 1 working ear, so...
Only 1 working ear, but you heard, like, the little wizard boy, and you looked up, and I saw the hearts in your eyes. I'm like, oh no, it's another one.
Wait. Okay, I heard him speak first, because, yes, I wasn't really paying attention. And Netflix just kind of started playing the video. And I was kind of like... Oh, hey, he's British. Then I looked up. Not only was he British, but he was a British punk wizard with blue magic. Which is, ironically, my really specific bread and butter. Like, if I had a nickel for every, like, blue magical, like, accented character boy, I'd have like 5 nickels, which isn't much, but it's just weird that, like,
that you have a type, and
that I have a type like that.
And I've said before, you never really are into the same thing I'm into, at least not at the same time.
Well, yeah, because they don't have blue British punk wizards.
For you to be that excited about, like, something, and oh my gosh, you're like, who is this boy? Who is this?
I know nothing about him, but
you were, like,
I want to.
You were like a little puppy. You were so excited. And you're like...
It's been a hot minute since, like, I've watched something and been, like...
genuinely excited.
Damn, okay.
I remember we got done with Infinity Train, the thing we were supposed to be excited about. I mean, like, I was feral, like...
No.
We had been drinking. I was, like, drunk. I was sweaty. I was, like, throwing shit around.
I did lay on the floor and whisper, oh shit, for about, like 5 minutes after.
I remember, like, Like, what is it? You know, like with the monkeys, when the monkeys are going like ape shit, and they're like,
No. We were like caveman SpongeBob and Patrick, like discovering
like
fire.
con fui fui. Like, I did not sleep that night. I didn't sleep that night, and just being so angry. And you turn to me and you're like, well, can we finish? We only made it up to like episode 8.
Excuse you, it was episode 6, and we made it halfway through.
And you're like, you would turn to me as I'm having like this full on like meltdown, and you're like, well, can we finish watching Tales of Arcadia? And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I did end up caring because I loved it just as much as you did.
Look, all jokes aside, one of the things I really appreciated about Wizards, and, you know, not just because he's a blue punk wizard, but was their portrayal of Dukesy. And first of all,
you're gonna get all philosophical on us.
Really, yes, I am. He's got a really cool name, okay? First of all, like, Hntrgurl was... Damn! Okay. Back on topic. Alright. But what I really appreciated about Dukesy and about this season in general is that we got to touch on some extremely heavy topics. We didn't get found family in Infinity Train, spoiler alert, but we did get found family in Wizards.
So many times over.
The fact that Dukesy and Archie are just so...
They're emotional, they're open with each other, and you really don't
affectionate.
See that.
Right, and you know, what's his name? Archie was really sassy and extremely funny, actually. But he knew when to come in and when to be, like, serious and a good friend and a good familiar. I loved, like, just... One of my favorite interactions between the two of them is when they go and visit Charlie. And, which we're going to touch more on that in a minute as well. But when Archie says, you know, you can talk to me, or something to the effect of, you know, you can talk to me. And it was just kind of like this really raw moment, which
and
you don't...
Sweet. You
don't see too much of that. And to kind of... Spoiler alert.
Even in Troll Hunters, you didn't really see that with Jim. You got like the
They're good at their emotional moments, but they killed it this season.
No. One of the things that I liked more about Dukesy than I liked about Jim is that Jim, when he was in an emotional moment that, like, called for tears, it was either... You know how, like, we're always saying that, like, there are certain shows that can never have an aside with itself, that it's always like, oh, we need to... If Jim was crying, oh my gosh, we gotta dedicate an entire scene just to point out, here's Jim crying. And then in other emotional scenes, it's like, we're just gonna have Jim get, like, really, really angry. And instead of, like, actually showing, like, the general spectrum, or whatever the hell the phrase is, of human emotion, he's just gonna get really, really angry. And... what I appreciate about Dukesy is that, like, you had scenes, like, after Merlin died where he'd be wiping his eyes or he would be, like, crying, and you still had, like, those cutaway scenes, like, those solitary scenes of him crying, and then it was also, like, in an aside. It was in the background. He showed emotion always.
Yes, that was the scene I was going to talk about. Well, actually, there's a handful of scenes, but basically they all take place after Merlin dies. The moments after he dies, and what I like about it is that you can see Dukesy struggling to keep doing what he's supposed to be doing. He knows that there's a battle going on right now. He knows that he's got things to do. Like, he does get up and take the book, and he gives it to Claire, and he does go and he takes Merlin's staff. Like, he's moving, but he's not getting very far. And there's a scene where it comes back and he's holding Merlin's staff and ends up, like, taking a few paces and then sitting down and just kind of resumes having his moment. But there are scenes where, like...
He was sad and he got to continue to be sad.
Yes. When they go and visit Charlie, there's... when they first... I'm trying to think of where this image comes from. But I laughed about it when I first saw it not knowing what happened because, like I said, we took a break in between episodes to watch Infinity Train, where I was like, man, Dukesy looks like shit. Man, 900 years have not been kind to him. And then it occurred to me,
like how we did when we got off of the Infinity Train.
Yes, yes. But then it occurred to me that he had been crying that whole time, and the reason why he looked the way that he did was because he had been crying and then started crying again. And it's not even like the sexy tear where like he's got like the one tear rolling down his cheek like Merlin's dead now. It's like an actual, we see it in what was really cool, and I don't know if like you saw it the same way that I did, but what I thought was really cool was you can actually see Dukesy going through the different stages of grief where when it first happens and Merlin first dies and he's not ready and he's kind of like sitting there shocked, in shock, I guess. But then you kind of see him move into that denial where it's Merlin said I had to get this done, and okay, Merlin, like he keeps kind of like referring to Merlin like he's still there. And then you see him when they visit Charlie move into anger when he kind of faces off with him. And I don't know if this was all intentional or if I'm just really reading into it, but he moves into anger and starts fighting Charlie that he needs a minute. Why won't anybody give him a minute? This is a lot to ask of him. This is such a big thing. And it all felt very real. It wasn't, you felt like this was actually somebody mourning. And then what happened?
And maybe it's because like the whole thing with Charlie, I could not stand. I mean, there were like when he has him destroy the staff, and when like
that scene was beautiful.
He gets angry about like you said, not having a second to breathe. I enjoyed that. I appreciated that. But the whole scene with Charlie, it was one of like those funny. It was like having Steve in Wizards, where it's like, I just wish you would stop talking.
Wait. I'll put this out there. Him being funny and kind of awkward and whatnot, and it seeming out of place, is a lot like how it's a lot like how the anger stage of mourning feels. You feel like everybody around you is just, so happy or whatever, but nobody's giving you a moment to breathe. Everybody's asking how you're doing. Everybody is saying, hey, you've got to get up and do this. And it's frustrating, and that's why it's anger. So I actually appreciated Charlie as a whole.
I think the only, other than the dad jokes, all that aside, I thought it was a little much. What was it we were talking about? We went on the walk, and it was like the only thing I didn't like about that super cool scene that I love is like the part
with the smoke talking about I know you're still mourning.
No, that I love that scene.
That's
but like
my favorite line.
Right before it, when he's talking about, well, when I found out that my son Archie wanted to be a familiar. At first I was disappointed, but then I allowed him to spread his wings and grow, and and once I let him go, I knew peace, and I know you're still grieving, because, like, that whole scene...
I know your father's dead.
It's like, oh, I was a good father. I know yours is dead. But you must, like, move on. I'm like, that is...
No.
That is the weirdest segue
but like
from
I
a
said,
dragon.
It kind of, like...
No, shut up. It was a
drove
weird
it home. Yeah, it was a weird segue. But... Dukesy's whole do it, destroy it, and you think that's him accepting that Merlin has died, but we still get scenes after that where clearly he's still dealing with it and still coming to terms with it, and he really doesn't get to start accepting until his scene in Limbo.
I love the scene, but at the same time, it kind of makes Charlie seem like a huge asshole.
Yeah, a little bit.
I know your father is dead.
I think just visually, I think the story, I think what they were able to accomplish in 10 episodes, just absolutely amazing, and I'm glad we eventually found our way onto that